I'm going on a road trip, and it looks like it's about to start raining. And so tomorrow we're putting decals in here, and then Saturday changing the tires, so they're gonna be like that. I wanted to show you guys, this is what I got, but it's in the box. Look at this, what a mess. It's in the box, but I got this from a company in US. Something about decals, but it's specifically, yeah, it's called Pro Motor Stripes. They're in Ohio. So gonna go to the installer tomorrow morning. I want them to look nice. So pretty much it's gonna be like this material, and I'll ask them also to see if they can fix this. I did this like a couple of winters ago, probably when I was scraping away the snow. But this how the car came from the factory. That's option that was installed. So anyway, let me just drop my bag and start the car. So we're doing cold start against a fence, okay? So if you have acute hearing, beware. No minors, okay? And by the way, you see this? I was like ashamed to look at myself yesterday, but you see this? I mean, for some reason, as soon as I drink a lot of coffee, and this part of my face start like falling off. I don't know. Oh boy, it's like a guy said in the movie. He says, "What are you looking at? I'm not a pole dancer, right? You don't have to look good. I'm not a girl, but still, like I look at myself, and I have, yeah, you see." It's more or less okay, right? So the skin, you know, you're 59 years old. You're not 20 years old anymore. But as soon as I have one coffee, the skin goes like this, you know. And at first I thought it was alcohol, because of course, you know, I tried quitting, but it's like life is too hard, you know. So you still want to have a drink occasionally, right, to relieve the stress. And then I remember once I did kind of like an experiment. I didn't drink for a month, but I still had coffee. And guess what? My skin looked the same bad way that you saw me in the yesterday movie. And so I realized something, that it's not alcohol, it's coffee. You know, of course, if you drink like a shoemaker every day, then yeah, you're gonna look bad, but it's coffee. So that's why now I'm gonna, after I warm up the car, ready, I'm gonna go and grab decaf. I'll try to stick to decaf, you know, and just have maybe 1 or 2 cups of real coffee on weekends only. That's loud. But behind me, it's a clinic. It's a dental clinic. So it's still very early, right? It's 7:10 in the morning, Eastern time. And recently I've been experimenting with the fuel economy. Not that I need it. I don't care about fuel economy because it's a fun car, but still it's kind of like interesting to watch, you know, when you drive, what gets you into that green zone, you know. And just like I thought, I found out that my car likes 2000 RPM, and And so let's say if I drive on a city street, it wants me to shift into 4th gear and do like 60 kilometers an hour, 40 miles an hour at 2000 RPM. And I got all green, and then right away the average mileage starts climbing, you know. It's just fun, you know. I don't care, but you know. And so I also wanted to show you guys, because now I'm gonna go on the freeway, right? And this car does pretty well when you're not. As soon as I do this, you know, somewhere the lights, of course, right away the fuel economy goes down. But I love this car. I love this car. But today is gonna be one of those rare days when I found a reason. You know, like quite often you have nowhere to go. I remember my dad was the same. You know, he bought a car. He always wanted to have a car, my late dad. And so he bought this, first he bought like a Lada. It was 21013 Lada, a very nice car, but like 62 horsepower, 4-speed manual, rear wheel drive, you know. But we loved it. We loved it. I still remember it was 6,000 rubles. 6,000 rubles. At that time it was about probably like a $4,000 US. But this was like back in I was still in high school. And we had nowhere to go. Like, where do you go? You know, like, he was retired already, I think. And mom worked, she always walked to work. Like her factory where she worked was like 10 minutes away, so she always that's why she's still alive, I think, because of that, because she was always walking. You know, once I tried to calculate how many kilometers or miles she did every day, and so I realized like every day she walked at least, I think, like 5 kilometers, you know, like 3 miles. And she was at that factory, I don't know, 25 years. So she would leave in the morning, walk, like I think it's like 10-15 minutes, she was telling me. Then at lunchtime she would come back to feed all of us guys, right? Because me, my brother, and the dad, and she would come back because she had a 1-hour break, and then she would leave again at 1:45. So her break was from 12 to 1, so she would be at 12:15. She'd be back at the apartment. She would leave at 1:45, and then she worked till 5, and she would walk back. You know, so it's like 15. It's like 1 hour of walking every day. And no wonder she was always sleeping. When she comes back, she lies on the sofa, and we're watching our black and white TV with 3 channels on a 50-inch television called Огонек, fire, little fire. And she's always like this, lying on her back, and she, you know, covers her eyes with her arm. And we always joke about her, like, "Mom, you sleeping again?" She said, no, I just closed my eyes. But you can tell by the voice, you know, like that hoarse voice, that she was asleep. She was always sleeping. If she's not cooking, she's sleeping. And so, yeah, and so I'm saying that my dad bought that car, but he had nowhere to go. He was always looking. He was not much of a fisherman, you know. He didn't hunt. We didn't have that vegetable plot that they later got, which was like 10 kilometers outside of town, you know. And then they would go to that plot, and of course they would use the car as a way of transporting all those crops back to the garage, you know, like potatoes and stuff like that. So it was like a micro farm, you know. But until then, he had nowhere to go, and of course gas was expensive, as it always is, especially when it feels expensive when you're retired, right? And so he was always looking for an excuse to drive somewhere. Serежka, ну что, поехали? Sergei, okay, let's go. Yeah, where are we going? Oh, I need to, I'm looking for a pot for my car. And we would drive like 25 kilometers to a nearest Moskvich service center. And we would just walk around, and he would not buy anything and we just drive back. So we're just using that an excuse, you know, to go for a drive. And so now I found an excuse. Hold on, I need to get my phone. Oh, you see, by the way, how quiet the car now is. Well, it's not very quiet, but it quieted down considerably, right? Okay, I don't want to get a ticket, so we're gonna switch on my Bluetooth. Oh, it's connected. No, it's connected to my car. See over here. You can see the bottom right corner says phone. Right, so Bluetooth is on. So now I can put it here. So if somebody calls me, I can answer right from here. See? So hands-free operation. Answer, hang up. Right, and then my radio, my satellite radio. This is changing channels. See? And this is volume. See, I want to have something like this, right? So on my truck. But of course, this is just the menu. But this is your cruise control. But these are great, you know, for the phone. And you see, I'm missing something here. I guess there was an option that I didn't get. But I like these, like how you can change your radio in the back there, you know, and the volume. It's cool. Anyway, so let's go grab. Oh, you see, it started raining. Let's go grab decaf Americano. Oh, check this out. This guy has police uniform. What is that? Police uniform. Maybe it's security or something. So yeah, the reason I found is I haven't been doing too much photography recently. Oh, check this out. A heavy hauler guy. Same trailer like mine. 4-axle. I mean, 4-axle truck. Like he's delivering to the John Deere over here. So Caterpillar is behind me, and it looks like he has a drop side rail. Wow, his trailer is really low. I think he's gonna scratch the ground, and it's a drop side rail. See, this is John Deere. Oh, somebody mentioned yesterday I should stop by here to ask him for those washers. Because one guy sent me a message yesterday. He says, you showed those washers in the video and they look like something Caterpillar or John Deere might use on buckets, on their excavators. He says, I'm not 100, this guy says, I'm not 100%, but you know, you might be able to find them there. And I know a guy here at John Deere in the parts department, and I'm gonna stop after I come from my little trip. I'm gonna go there, and that's Cal Tire. That's where I'm going Saturday to change. Look at this guy. was too much traffic. He couldn't turn. So I'm gonna go there Saturday to get the tires, to change the last narrow tires. And so as of Saturday, all my tires will be 275 40/20. The car looks much better, and better traction, you know, better steerability on corners. And so I didn't do too much photography, and so what I found, I wanted to get a new lens, you know. See, as soon as I switch into fourth, it's all green. Right now it shows 20 miles a gallon. So if I drive like this at 1800 RPM, 60 kilometers an hour, I'm getting, no, I think it's more than 20. Yeah, it's like 23. So it is possible to get, you know, good mileage. But it's hard with this car not to do this. You know? But it's so much power. And because of all these little mods I did, right? I have pretty much instantaneous throttle response, and I think what helped with that was the tuner, the exhaust system mods. The tuner played a big part, and then the exhaust, opening up the exhaust to 3-inch in the back, and then the BBK long tube headers in the front. Of course, headers also very good mod, even though a bit expensive. And the last tidbit was that Z Automotive little gadget that killed my active exhaust. So now my pipes are fully open all the time, and I think that's what people should do, you know, instead of messing with mufflers and stuff like that. All you need is this little gadget from Z Automotive. But actually on newer models you don't even need that. I saw a couple of videos on YouTube where people they say on 2019 and after, they changed the software here, and you can just disconnect that active exhaust, just pull the wires, and you have no check engine light. Whereas on my car, 2018 and earlier, if you try to disconnect that, it would throw a check engine light. But what that does, it improves your sound, and that's what most people are looking for, right? So you don't need to cut the mufflers. All you need to do is just kill this active exhaust son of a gun. All right, and I sent a text message. I still have the phone number of the guy that I sold those 2 other tires to. I still have his phone, so I texted him. I said, hey, I will have 2 more of these tires to sell as of Saturday. $180 for both. Interested? And he said, I appreciate the offer, but I just bought a pair of the same tires from St. Catharines last night. And he also thanked me. I gave him he was looking for a job because he got his trucker license, but he couldn't get a job, so I referred him to one of my clients who runs a construction company, And this guy just now says thank you. Anyway, let's go get some coffee and I can start driving. So yeah, basically I found the lens. Usually I don't like buying used, but these guys, this Henry's I'm using in Canada, it's a big outfit, Henry's cameras or Henry's photo store, and you can find them in every big town, especially in Ontario and I think Quebec as well. And they have a system of marking or sorting used equipment, like 10. It goes from 1 to 10. 10 is the best. And so 10, it can be just never used, you know, like they have a new item that's never been opened, never been used, so that's 10, right? And then they have 9, which is 100% original finish, so basically never been used, but it might be missing some manuals or something, you know, in the box, but the item is as good as new. And then they have 8 plus, you know, when there's can be some minor scratches, right? And so I'm never interested in used stuff, like, you know. But here, this lens I want to buy, the difference is in price between brand new and this used one I found is $600 Canadian. 600 bucks. But you have to drive 120 kilometers east in a Challenger with modified exhaust system and 500 horsepower. You have to drive 135 kilometers, 80 miles east past Toronto. Now that's a, you know, big chore. I don't really like, you know. No, who am I kidding? That was an excuse I was talking about earlier. So I want to drive this car on a freeway, which I don't get to do too often, right? And so this lens looks like brand new in the picture, and it says condition 9. Very rare. It's very rare to see a lens or a camera or whatever, like used, rated that high, you know. And so it shows that they available, like a couple of those lenses are available in that store only. And so I click on the button there. They have an option reserve and pick up. And so I click reserve, and then you're supposed to wait for the email they sent you, but they open at 11 o'clock because of COVID. They all, you know, all these non-essential stores, they operate on a reduced schedule. And so they open at 11, and time now is only, what, 7:29? So I think that's perfect. So condition 9, I don't need any manuals if it's missing something, or maybe it's missing a cap from the lens. I got a bunch of those. And so I'm gonna drive there, and since they have more than one, I'll say, I'm sorry, I cannot wait for your email because you open at 11. I'm already here, right? Just give me the other one, and we'll cancel that reservation unless I get it on the way there. So that's what we're doing today. And I'll talk, you know, let me just get coffee and we'll drive in the car, and you guys hear the car and how it behaves on the road, and we'll just chat as I'm driving about various topics, some of them about trucking, some of them not about trucking, but I promise it'll be interesting. Stay with me, okay? All right, I got the coffee. And usually I go here to this Goodness Me, and it says organic produce, natural groceries, quality supplements, healthy eatery. And what these guys sell, it's pretty much like what's known in US as a health food store. And they have the protein bars I like, and usually it's like very, you know, convenient. Like I would go there in the morning first thing and just get a couple of protein bars, and then I would go and grab coffee at Starbucks. But I don't want to look like that, you know, like I'm 80 years old. But that's what coffee does to my skin, I'm telling you. I looked back at my old videos on YouTube, and it's like, it's so cool to have these, you know, I have thousands of videos in there. I probably have, what, like 1,400 videos on my YouTube channel. And I can go and look at something like, and see how I looked like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you know, because I started in 2008. And I could see how on the left side of my cheek, I started developing deep wrinkles. I think it was like one deep wrinkle, probably some 4 years ago. And then it got worse and worse. I'm telling you, it's all coffee, you know. Like, of course, everybody's different. Everybody's affected differently. Some people can drink barrels of that stuff and nothing happens, right? Because I always watch old people, you know, when I'm sitting somewhere in a diner, I'm always curious about what old people eat. Do they still drink coffee? And I see they buy, but they have, you know, just a little bit, you know, like a mug, usually it's a small mug, right? So they just have one and that's it. And I hear them saying, no, that's it for me, you know. But they still drink it. I see some 90-year-old babushka, she still has coffee, you know. But again, it depends on your disposition, on your health, right? And so for me, I know it affects me very badly, you know. I feel some pressure in my chest sometimes, you know. I feel accelerated heartbeat, or I don't think I should be drinking it, you know. So I'm gonna try again, stay away from it. But of course, as with every diet, you want to give yourself like a reward, you know, like on the weekend. So I will have one coffee on the weekend. Yeah, I just want to stop by my truck to pick up some accessories for my other lens that recently I haven't been using much. Because these guys, the Henrys, they have it's called trade up. Yeah, like it's called trade up program. So you bring your stuff, if they have it on their list, they give you 50% of the price for the new. You know, this my other lens that I have in my backpack, I just checked the pricing. It's the brand new one is $1,700, right? And so if I can get $900 and use it towards the purchase of the new one, that would be awesome. And usually they don't care about accessories, they just want the lens itself. They don't even ask for the box. But just in case, I want to stop and grab a couple. I think I have like a hood from the lens and another cap in my truck here. Well,
head east on Pine Bush Road, Waterloo Regional Road 39. In 100 meters, at the roundabout, take the second exit and stay on Pine Bush Road, Waterloo Regional Road 39. Exit the roundabout onto Pine Bush Road. In 400 meters, turn left onto Town Line Road, Waterloo 33.
I got navigation here in the car, like nav button over here, but I don't like using it because it's not internet connected. So I'm so used to Google Maps in my truck, right? So I just use Google Maps. And this is what I picked up. I have the box with me. See, these are hoods for my 2 lenses. Basically, it's like you put them on the front of the lens to prevent glare and helps, you know, protects the lens a little bit. But I usually don't use them because then everything gets too big. And let's say if you're on a street, like doing street photography and stuff, then, you know, you don't want to carry a lens that's like 2 meters long, you know.
In 200 meters, use the right lane to take the Ontario 401 East ramp to Toronto. Use the right lane to take the Ontario 401 East ramp. Continue for 1 kilometer.
Miss Google is quite talkative today.
In 600 meters, merge onto Ontario 401 East. Continue on Ontario 401 East for 51 kilometers.
So now this is gear 6. Of course, I'm only using on the highway, so 2,000 RPM, and the instant mileage shows way over 20. So basically, it's possible, you know, to get good mileage if you drive conservatively. But right now, because I drive mostly in the city, right now my average is 12 miles a gallon, which is, of course, it's ridiculous. But I would not change this car for any Mazda or Toyota or Hyundai. My brother was bugging me about this again. He sent me a voice message, and I said, yeah, you know, my dream would be, when I'm no longer trucking, like my dream would be to drive around US and Canada in my car, in the Challenger, and, you know, maybe do some selling, buying and selling, you know, some trading, heavy machinery. And he, yeah, that's kind of like a little bit annoying, you know, that boop, 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 boop. But it's not exactly the drone. I'm pretty sure this is where that active exhaust, it would close the pipes a little bit, because, you know, you don't need them at such low RPM. Like now I'm at what, like 1100 RPM, but I'm going pretty fast. But anyway, my brother was saying, well, yeah, you don't notice it now, you say you don't care, but, you know, he says once you start driving, but he says you did only less than 19,000 kilometers in 2.5 years, which is like, I don't know, 12,000 miles. That's all I did since November 2018 in this car, because I'm always on the road in my semi-truck, right? And he says, but wait, once you start driving, if you want to really do this, you know, like travel all over the place in your car, he says, you will notice. And and I did a comparison. I said, okay, 1,000 kilometers, 600 miles. Let's say I'm driving a Toyota Civic, I mean Honda Civic, 7 liters per 100 kilometers, which is what, like over like 32 33 mpgs versus my car, and it's, I don't know, it's like $100 extra during 600 miles, you know. I'm okay with that. But anyway, what's fun is that in Russia, from what I see on my brother Alex's channel, people are obsessed about fuel economy. And that's funny because when I was there, I noticed that their fuel is cheaper. Gas and diesel is cheaper than here. Not even Canada, but I mean, not even US. Canada, of course, is more money, so it's cheaper than in Canada, but it's also cheaper than in the States. You know, for some reason, I was actually surprised because I thought US prices are the best. And turns out, no, Russia, I'm guessing they have lots of their own oil, right? And so their fuel prices are much cheaper than here, and yet people are obsessing about how much they spend per 100 kilometers or 60 miles, you know? And you go there for a visit, very rarely you see pickup trucks, because of course pickup trucks usually have big engines, and they don't make their own pickup trucks, I don't think, and they cannot afford these trucks because they would all be imported. And my brother explained to me that in Russia, if you bring something from overseas, or even like from a neighboring country like Germany or whatever, you know, Sweden, if you are into Volvos, right, you pay a big tax, like a duty, and that duty depends on how big your engine is. And like a car like mine, they cannot afford to bring it in. Like a 6.4 liter engine, they cannot do it. So you have to be very rich to have a car like this, or even a pickup truck. And so they all buy these, you know, he's driving a SUV made by Skoda, which is part of Volkswagen. And Skoda used to be made in Czechoslovakia, and I guess then Volkswagen bought them out. He was bugging me when I had a truck like that, a Ram 1500, 5.7 liter. My brother was saying, I don't know, like it's not just gas, it's tires and maintenance. Like, what are you talking about? And so I went, after I came back from Russia, under I'm telling you, because over there everybody's crazy. They're all obsessed about this. They don't understand these big trucks, big cars. And that's when I had the Ford F-150 actually. Yeah, I had Ford F-150. I spent like probably $5,000 Canadian doing all these little mods. It was really fun. I liked that truck, but then after a while I wanted something new, and then I went to Russia, and now they have all this propaganda from citizens where everybody's crazy about fuel economy. And so when I came back to Canada, I sold it. And I traded that one in for a Mazda 2.0 liter 4-cylinder engine. And guess what? Yeah, the fuel economy was great, but the car was super light. It was shaking like this, like at this, you know, even at a speed like this, especially when it's windy, it was like all over the road. It's not safe. I don't like these small cars. I used to like them before. I don't like them now. And then I would go to Western Canada in my truck, in my semi-truck, right? And of course over there, all these guys, they drive pickup trucks, you know, GMC, Ram, you know, Chevrolet. And I was like really sad to hear the exhaust, you know, when they drive, or we're sitting at a light and these guys have a truck and they rev the engine a little bit. I really was missing that V8, you know, sound. And so I think I drove that Mazda like for a year, and then I bought a Ram like this with a standard cab, a Ram 1500. No, this one is actually, it's 2500. It's like a heavy duty model. I don't know. I think it's fun. I love big engines, you know, when you have lots of power, it's fun. What are we doing? I need 30 kilometers to get to 407. And this time, like, look at this. These people are nuts. But the good news is that, like I said, as soon as I hit the freeway, my fuel economy starts climbing. You know, it's pretty good. But I'm definitely not obsessing about fuel economy like those poor kids in Russia. Come on, you know, live a little, right? Life is short. Like, what's the point? Otherwise, everybody would be driving, you know, Honda Civic and Toyota Corollas and Hyundai Elantras. Like, where's the fun in that, right? So yeah, I'm already up to 12.5 miles a gallon. Check this out. All because I'm in gear 6 and my RPM now is 1100. It's excellent. I can see myself driving this car, you know, for 1,000 miles. Let's say if I do switch to equipment trading in the future, you know, and let's say they open the borders and between Canada and the States, and you can travel again in a personal vehicle. You know, I would love just to go to all these truck shows and auctions, you know. But I have not decided yet, so I'll know about my future when my trailer is paid off. I'll see how I feel when I'm only paying for the truck, and then the truck is paid 1 year. 1 year after my trailer is paid. And then we'll see. I'm still thinking because once the truck and trailer are paid off, man, I can just work part-time, you know. Basically, I can go to Florida in October and stay there till April, and then come back and do some heavy hauling. You know, there will be no pressure, because right now it's killing me, you know. It's killing me, all these bills. It's very expensive to run heavy haul, so don't let people that tell you different. Oh wow, we're doing 40 miles a gallon now, boys and girls, because I'm going downhill. All right, where's 407? Come on. 22 kilometers, okay. Yeah, what are we doing in terms of horsepower? Check this out. Right now I'm using 25 horsepower, which of course answers the question why you see small cars pass me, right? Why they drive so fast. It's because they don't need a lot of horsepower on the highway. Yeah, there's a low speed limit over here, construction zone, and you always gotta be careful in construction zones, because I always say that's 2 tickets. I read about this. So if they catch you speeding in a construction zone, ticket 1 is speeding and ticket 2 is dangerous driving. And so that's the trick I do. I go in the middle lane, let those guys in the left lane, they wanna risk getting a ticket, be my guest. So yeah, I'm just watching all these guys, you know, guys and girls. Like, who do I haul equipment for, right? People buy and sell stuff, and that's where my most of my past experience, with the exception of this 15 years that I've been a truck driver, I was in sales. Right, I was in real estate sales, advertising sales. Wow, where did that come from? I don't think it was from this dump truck I'm following. I think it was from the pickup truck that passed. Look at that guy. That guy was crossing into my lane. The guy behind me has flashing lights. Oh, it's a dump truck. All right, we are 15 kilometers away. 9 miles from 407. Let me just pass this guy in case he's the one who was throwing rocks at my windshield. So this is approaching Mississauga or Toronto, and the best part about this construction that's been going on for the past, I think, I don't know, year, is that the inspection station is closed. It wasn't open too often before, but there was 2 inspection stations. So one on this side, and that one is like a small building over there. But you see now it's all covered in construction materials they're using for storage. So the thing is closed, but they're gonna reopen it. And the other one is over here. Same story, it's all closed, all covered with construction machinery. But the bad part about these 2 stations is that they are staffed by civilians, right? I never knew this, that Ministry of Transportation or DOT, local DOT here, they use civilians. It's kind of like you see, you know, you go into a shopping center and you see security, right? They're not police. Sometimes they do use police, but it's a security, so same story. And so these guys over here, and even the one there's inspection on QEW, Queen Elizabeth Way, for some reason over here it's all civilians, they're not police. And actually my experience was, I went through there a couple of times, they're actually worse. They are worse than cops. You know, because they have some kind of a self-esteem issues, you know. Oh man, I'm not a real cop, you know. And so they're very angry. They give you a ticket at the smallest provocation, you know. I don't like them. And if you're driving like this, now I'm at 1500 RPM. The exhaust is actually pretty quiet. You know, it started doing that boo 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 at 120 at 75 miles an hour. And so to avoid that, I either have to go slower or faster. So that can be considered as somewhat of a drone, but it's not that obnoxious drone I had in at the end there. The Mustang, I had that, and even Ram. And so over here the shoulder is pretty almost non-existent, you know. That's why when I go through here in my semi-truck with oversized load, what the heck, that's my exit. I thought it was sending me on 407. I don't want to go on 401. What's wrong with you? Son of a gun. I don't know where the next entrance is. No, the last thing I want to do is drive through Toronto at 8:19 in the morning on 401. Yes, you see, like, that's 407, so this is 407. It went that way, but there's no, yeah, you have to pay. It's a toll freeway, but you don't have this stuff in there. Son of a gun. I guess I mistook. I was looking, it says 20 kilometers, 5.7, but it says express, 401 express. All right, hold on, let me focus because there's a lot of traffic here. Let me get out of this mess. I know it'll be much better once you're past the airport. But yeah, that was unexpected drama. I found the road that will take me back to 407. So this is Highway 1.
Head east toward Mississauga Road, Peel Regional Road 1 South.
Yeah, screw you. I'm not going back on 401.
300 meters, turn right onto Mississauga Road, Peel Regional Road 1 South.
No freaking way. Leave me alone.
Turn right onto Mississauga Road, Peel Regional Road 1 South.
No, I'm not turning right. I'm turning left here. You stupid Google Maps. Okay, here we go. It found it.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Mississauga Road, Peel Regional Road 1 North.
But it says 5 minutes slower. That's why it was sending me on 401. But again, like, it's my day off, right? Why I don't want to be on 401, man. It's like going through Atlanta, Georgia on that bypass, with 55-mile-an-hour speed limit where everybody's doing 75, 80, and they honk at you if you're doing less than that. So now I see like 401 west. So these people here, they're going to 401 east. This, I want to drive on a decent road, So this is Mississauga. Construction everywhere. See, that's good actually. For me as a trucker, I love construction. Because to have construction, you must have machines, right? These are no longer the times when all you need were some workers with spades, and axes and stuff like that, right? You need excavators, you need wheel loaders. All right, 1.2 kilometers to 407. Now this is a good area. I stayed here at a hotel once, so I would go here to get coffee and stuff. Oh, miles per gallon now up to 13.1.
In 600 meters, use the right lane to take the Ontario 407 East Express toll route ramp.
All right, where is it? I think it's that next one.
Use the right lane to take the Ontario 407 East ramp. Continue for 1 kilometer.
Okay, we're back on track.
In 600 meters, merge onto Express toll route Ontario 407 East.
That's the plan. You see, empty. So now we can switch back.
Continue on Ontario 407 East for 8 kilometers.
See that boo 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 sound? That's what happens because I'm at 1800 RPM.
We found a faster route via Ontario 401 Express, which saves 3 minutes, if you prefer to stay on the current route.
All right, I'm in the econo mode. 115 kilometers an hour. So what is this? 70 miles an hour? No, less than 70. It's like 68 is 109. Yeah, pretty much like 70, right? 112. Yeah, just over 70. 72. I want to see how high I can take that miles per gallon by the time I reach my destination. So I'm using, come on, make up your mind. Is it 37 horsepower or is it, no, 34? Okay, we're going up a slight hill. So I'm using 35 horsepower out of my 500 right now. 110 pounds of torque. I love this, you know, like kind of like disco music, you know, like you're driving, you can look at your numbers, you look at your fuel economy, I see my speed. Miss Google keeps me on track 90% of the time. We are cruising. So if I need to drive, you know, let's say I'm driving somewhere, I don't know, somewhere crazy like 3,000 miles in this car, right? Let's say in the future, right? I'm just driving around in my car, I'm doing YouTube movies, I'm buying, selling machinery. Like, why I cannot drive like this? you know, 72 miles an hour. I get excellent fuel economy again, right? So there's nothing wrong with these big engines. You just need to know how to drive them.
In 800 meters, keep left to continue on Ontario 407 East. Keep left to continue on Ontario 407 East. Continue on Ontario 407 East for 17 kilometers.
Like, honestly, I'm enjoying this. But you see this road? Check how many lanes are here. I'm in the second from the right, so there's 5 lanes. Most of the time nobody bothers you. You know? I like this road, but it's very expensive. It's much more expensive than a typical toll in US, but you know, usually I use it only in my semi-truck, but once in a while, why not, right? Because I don't have a transponder. I have the 407 transponder in my truck, but for the car I don't have it. And when you don't have a transponder, they charge you extra fees because they have to use a camera. They have like a camera fee because they take a picture of your license plate and they say, basically they charge me extra. But I was thinking about getting a transponder, but it's expensive. I usually only use it for work, you know, when I have an oversized load, just to bypass the congested Toronto area on 401. And so I didn't get the transponder. Now here's something interesting, what I suspected a little bit, because now Chrysler put my regular tires on the back, 245, which are a bit smaller, right? And so I use my tuner to update my speedometer for 275 tires because they're slightly taller. And so right now I'm set up for 275 tires, but whereas in reality I have 245 tires in the back, right? And check this out, my analog speedometer shows like almost, I don't know, 118 kilometers an hour. My cruise control says 115, but when I start the speed app, I have 2 speed apps, you know, speed measuring apps on the phone, and they both say the same thing. The first one said 111, this one says 112, so that's 70 miles an hour. So it's like 3 kilometers an hour difference. And I know it was accurate before when I had 275 in the back, but I'm not gonna change anything because the day after tomorrow, Saturday, right, I'm getting 275 on the back, and I'm gonna check again, just double check to make sure that my speedometer is accurate. Well, I'm coming to the end of stretch on 407.
In 800 meters, take exit 112 for Ontario 412 toward Ontario 401.
Yeah, so now I'm switching to 412, 412, which is also toll, but it goes south. Whereas now I was driving pretty much east or a little bit north.
Take exit 112.
yeah, a little bit northeast. So now I'm taking this exit.
Continue for 1.5 kilometers.
So this will take me down to 401. So this is Whitby, and the Henry's
100 meters, merge onto Ontario 412.
and the Henry's store I'm going to is in Oshawa, which is the next town to the east. Now I'm going.
Continue on Ontario 412 for 9 kilometers.
Yeah, so now I'm driving south. On the way back, maybe I'll go on 401 because it shouldn't be too busy. It'll be middle of the day. But now in the morning, yeah, I draw a line. I'm not driving in rush hour traffic on my day off. Forget it. See a car sitting on the shoulder. Might be a cop, but I'm driving very slow. Well, relatively speaking. So 115. But in reality it's 113 clicks an hour, so this is way slower than what other people are driving at.
Use the left 2 lanes to take the Ontario 401 East exit. Continue on Ontario 401 East for 8 kilometers.
Okay, I put in a fresh battery and I'm here. So it's a little shopping plaza and that's the store. That's the goal of this road trip. Henry's Photo Video Digital. The only problem is the time now is 9:25, 9:24, and that store does not open until 11. but which is not too bad. So I got hour and a half to kill. I might go for some breakfast, and coincidentally I see something called cocoa fruity breakfast and lunch, and I can see from here it says open. I don't know if they're if you can eat inside. I could just buy something and bring back and eat in the car. There's also that Harvey's, that's, you know, like a burger place, but in the morning they also do eggs and stuff like that. I like that. And if all that fails, there's Shoppers Drug Mart, which I know they sell protein bars, but I'm getting sick of those protein bars. I want to have a good breakfast, so let me go see what I can find. Got my breakfast. I had the feeling that the proprietor and his wife, like the wife is at the cash register and the guy is in the back, and they look so sad, you know. They were very happy to see me because you know, COVID, and it says pick up or delivery only. All their chairs are on top of tables. But as I was waiting, I ordered this. As I was waiting, I read the notice on the window there, like internal window, and it said 4 people allowed to dine maximum. Like, because this is different region, right? I'm in Cambridge near Kitchener, which is Waterloo region. This is different region, so they have different rules. But it looks like it's allowed. And then I looked closer, and not all tables were blocked with chairs. I saw a couple of tables open, so I could have eaten there. But I'm not sure. I see a big sign outside says we open for pickup and delivery. So I didn't even ask him. So I got some fruit salad, couple of eggs, and I saw they had a salmon, you know, sandwich with the salmon. I like that one. I try to stay away from bread, but if it's salmon, I like it. All right, so what do we have? 9:44, so 1 hour 15 minutes till my photography store opens its doors. And I checked the sign on the door. Sure enough, it's 11. They open at 11 today. Well, the plaza slowly is coming to life. Somebody parked next to me over here, but it's all kind of like industrial and all. There's a credit union over there, and then there's some liquidators, Caroline's liquidators. I guess, you know, they're like wholesale. So they sell stuff that some stores, you know, get rid of, you know. And then there's something called Infinite. Then there's Henry's, and then there's over here is Cash Connections, payday loans, and a hairdresser in the corner there, all locked up because of course there's no hairdressing anymore because of COVID. But it's funny that I noticed people park their car and then go inside. I thought, wait a second, where are they going? Henry's is closed, the credit union is closed, and turns out every 5 minutes somebody was walking in or out that Infinite place, you know. And I look at the door sign, and it says massage acupuncture, like massage in the morning. Like, who's doing massage in the morning? But then I see the last, there's another word that I cannot see fully, but I see the first 2 letters, CH. And then I saw on the big post chiropractor. So that's a, you know, interesting industry, right? So people are getting older, people are getting sick. You always need health professionals. And so that's the busiest place in this little area. And the other busiest place is on the other side of the street. So that's that Cocoa Fruity place I went to get my breakfast. The next to it is Pet Value, your pet store selling, you know, pet supplies. And then next is Pizza, but the busiest place over there, for what I can tell, is a cannabis store. Because it's legal to buy and smoke weed in Ontario. And so I see people come in, park, go inside, grab their smokes and leave. You know? Like some 10 years ago, if somebody would have told me that we would have legal weed in Canada, I would not have believed that guy, you know? But here we are now, thanks to our youthful Prime Minister Trudeau. The weed is here, but I cannot smoke it because I'm a commercial trucker, and when you go into US, it's illegal to possess or smoke weed, and so never tried it. I'm afraid to try it, and then I might have issues entering US. Have you ever smoked weed? Yeah, officer, every day. It's you know, it's legal in Canada. All right, well, it's illegal in the States. You have any supply on board? No. Okay, so that means that since you're smoking so often, that means you have a habit. So you'll be looking for some illegal sources of supply in US. Is that correct? No, sir. So yeah, I read stories about this. So basically, if they ask you, have you ever smoked weed? And you say yes, they can deny entry into US. And that's why I'm not touching that stuff, you know. I'd rather have a beer or something. You know, because you don't see that scenario. A Canadian coming to the border and the US Border Patrol officer says, have you ever drank beer? And you're like, no, sir. Oh, yes, sir, I had beer. Oh, then you cannot enter US. Beer is illegal. See, that doesn't sound even funny, right? I wish they would make all the rules, you know, the same, right? Like, I don't care about this weed personally. I never smoked. I don't wanna make my lungs look black on the X-ray, you know. Doesn't look very good on the autopsy report, you know. You wanna die healthy, you know. You don't wanna die sick and then they cut you up and they find all kinds of diseases that you would have died anyway 2 weeks after that. Yeah, my late dad, when he had a heart attack for was it second time or third time, and he was overweight and he smoked all his life, but actually he stopped shortly before he died. He stopped smoking. And then on the day he died, he had a cigarette. No, actually not shortly. I think he didn't smoke probably for like 5 years or 10 years or something like that. And then they were working outside on that vegetable plot that I mentioned before, and the day was good, you know, it was August, and for some reason he really wanted to have a smoke, and he smoked a cigarette, and then he started feeling bad, and then when they went home, you know, they had to call an ambulance. And back then, of course, there was no cell phones, and that was a factor, you know. My mom had to run back to the apartment building to call the ambulance. I mean, it was crazy. That's how technology nowadays can save you, right? Because everybody has a cell phone. But imagine something happens, right? And you are 1 mile away from the phone. So you leave the sick person there. You have to run to the building to call the ambulance, and they have to run back. And of course, by the time the ambulance arrives, it's too late. So anyway, no more of this sad stuff. So I'm online. Hold on, I got an email over here. Holy Motor Life. Holy Motor Life. I'm not sure how these... Yeah, these guys now own Flowmaster. Holy Motor. And somehow I got subscribed to this newsletter. And like every week they're sending me something where, you know... and it's all about Chevys mostly. Chevy or GM. How to install a camshaft in an LS engine. Like, why do I need to know this? I think I already unsubscribed like twice, and somehow I still end up on the newsletter. Anyway, looking at the trucks, at the load postings, there's a bunch of loads. Of course, most of them are the same. Like, people post one load 5 times for different dates. The heaviest load now is 108,000 pounds. I usually sort them all by weight. Heaviest at the top. So out of Ontario going to US, 108,000 pounds. But it's 48 foot long. And trailer type requested is RGNE, extendable, which I don't have. Moving on, Northern Ontario to Maryland, 98,000 pounds, and pays pretty good. But I looked up the company that posted this, you know, trying to check their credit, and my factory company has no record of them. But on this load board, days to pay says 10, but then there's another column called experience. Like experience, I guess, where people leave feedback, it says B. B as in boy, where the number 1 would be A. And so B means that there's something's wrong, and that was confirmed by my factoring company having no record of them, and they never work with them. And so, and I tried to email them. I hate it when they don't leave the email address. It's all the... I don't want to talk to them on the phone, right? I can send 10 emails in the time it makes to me to do one phone call. And so they do have an email listed, but it's a generic, like something like info at, you know, I know they never work. So you have to call them, which I'm not too keen on doing. And then there's another load for RGNE. Oh, and that guy, remember that drainage, what is it? Layer dozer, the big drainage pipe dozer. I moved from Ontario to Ohio, right? The big monster, that Braun 585. So this guy, then he asks me, he says he has another machine like that going on the next week when I deliver that one. And so we start talking about the price, and I thought we agreed. And then he disappears, and then I see that load on the load board, and the price was like 50% less than what we agreed on. So clearly his customer doesn't want to pay my rate, and so now it's sitting on the load board. Nobody wants to do it because it's 84,000 pounds going almost 800 miles. So that's the tricks, you know, the games the freight brokers play, right? They always want to find something cheaper. And after that, then it's, so this one is 84,000 pounds, then it's 52, 42, and I know those never pay well. So like I said, I always sort loads by weight, and I try to do the heaviest one. I know the rate can be okay because there's not much competition, right? And you need to have special equipment. And also I like doing big stuff, and then, you know, I do a video, and lots of people like watching when you hold, you know, big equipment. Now moving on to my other search. So my one search is basically Ontario, Quebec, I think. No, Ontario, Manitoba. Yeah, Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba to anywhere. And then this other search I'm looking at now is anywhere like US or Canada going to Ontario. Because sometimes if there's not enough loads here, actually quite often, you know me, I would go empty into US, and I would pick up something there and bring to Canada, right? So now the heaviest load, again, if I sort them by weight, is 110,000 pounds. These are loads for RGN. 110, the next one is 84, and then 83, and then it drops off sharply after that to 46, 44, 38. So basically like 3 heavy loads. One from Louisiana and one from Georgia, and 2 from Georgia. That's it. And out of these 3, 2 go very far away from me, like 1,000 miles away on Ontario, but total different part of Ontario that I don't want to go to. And then the other one comes close to me, but it's Louisiana. You know, it's too far. It's too far to go empty. So, there's a couple of loads, you know, sometimes they don't post the weight. And sometimes that's a good indicator, actually. That means that it's heavy. Sometimes they don't want to scare people, you know, and they just, okay, what is this? Machine, 46,000 pounds, needs at least 28 feet in the well, needs a twig card for pickup. So see, 46,000 pounds, and he posted the rate, basically $4 a mile from Maryland to Ontario. That's not good. Anyway, that's all the searching I'm gonna do. I'm gonna check it out again after lunch. And some brokers sent me a bunch of loads, hot loads. Georgia, Oregon, Washington, California, Oregon, Arizona, Oregon, Michigan, Oregon, Texas, Oregon. So I cannot do any of these. And the heaviest load she has is 36,000 pounds. Forestry bucket truck. So no work yet, but yesterday I did a quote for a lady. She has something out of US, but not too far, like 500 miles away, going to where? I forgot. I think it's going to Western Canada. But that one is 70,000 pounds, you know, not too heavy, not too light. And they agreed to my rate, and then she says she's gonna send it to the customer. And she wrote, I'm 99% sure they will accept it. But so far it's already 10:22 here in Ontario, and this broker, she's in Toronto, so she's She's in the same time zone, but so far I haven't heard from her. I got it. I got it. Man. They are in full lockdown. Full lockdown. You cannot walk inside the store. I try to walk in. The door is blocked with a table, and the guy says, "Sir, you cannot walk in. You have to call the number. Somebody will be with you shortly." So what is this? And he says, we're in lockdown, pandemic. Like, what pandemic? It's still on here? Because I'm pretty sure, like, in my area, that's a different region, right? It's Waterloo region, whereas here it's, what is it, Peel? It's like they're very bad here because there's a high, you know, there's a lot of people live here. But anyway, I got it, so I decided not to keep my older 70-200 f4, which is an excellent lens, but you know, I don't want to carry 20 lenses with me all the time. I got what do I have? I have 18-35, which is like my main lens, 35-45, and I wanted something a bit longer than 70-200, right? And I was thinking about getting one of those Sigmas again I had before for wildlife, like 150-600, because actually they're cheaper than this. But this is a gorgeous lens. It's slightly used, but it's a nano coating VR, and it's 300mm Nikon f4, and it's a PF, Peter Falcon PF, which is a new technology that allowed them to make this lens much smaller, because the previous 300mm lens, it was a monster, you know, it was like this big, especially f4. And so look at this. So that's the entire lens, 300mm, you know. And I checked it, and the guy says, I said, I never saw you guys sell a lens condition 9. And he says, yeah, that means that it's pretty much new, you know, and I can see it. It's perfect, just like they said. They didn't lie. But of course I checked the see that it's nothing is cracked. And this guy says, I think what happened is that the guy who bought it, he just bought it, but then he decided he doesn't like a prime lens. But this one has the best part is that it has vibration reduction, you know. So this is perfect. It's much shorter than my 70-200, so this is perfect for a walk around, maybe even do some street photography, you know. I had this crazy idea to do street photography at 300mm, you know, because this, you really, people are not gonna see you, you know. And I never use these. I'm not a fan of these hoods because they just attract attention. Anyway, that's all. And I said, so how much do I get for my 70-200? And he took it. He says, I'll call you. Let me look up on my computer. And then he calls me on the phone. So we're talking over the phone. I'm standing outside the door, and the guy says, I can give you $500 for it. And I said, $500? Don't you guys sell the new one for $1,700 now? Before it was like $1,600, now it's $1,700. And the guy said, and because mine is pretty much new, you know. And the guy says, well, yeah, we do sell it for 1,700, but we don't sell many of those anymore. Nowadays, most people buy, you know, mirrorless lenses. And I said, screw this, I'll take it. Do you want warranty? Which is like 250 bucks. No, thank you. But it has 3 years of it has 3 months of warranty. So I like this. So it's smaller, it's pretty much probably the same weight, if not lighter, but it's smaller. It takes less space in my back, you know, backpack, and it does the same thing as before, even better, because it's 300 millimeters. So this is perfect for even some, you know, animals, if you can get close and not get eaten. But mostly I want these for, you know, like a tele shots, you know, in the distance, some, you know, mountains, landscape, stuff like that. That's perfect. And also I use that the previous, that 7200 millimeter. I used and actually I sold a couple of pictures. People bought pictures of my truck with a load. And when you use a tele lens, you know, we just step away, far away, and what happens is that the lens with such long focal length, it compresses the background, right? So if let's say there's like some mountains, you know, 10 kilometers back, if you're using a lens like this, it brings those mountains right next to your truck, and so it looks much better. That's why they use lenses like this, like long lenses, for, you know, model photography, when they do like car advertising photography. You know, they put a car somewhere in a nice spot, you know, with nice scenery, and then they use a long lens to bring the scenery closer to the car. So that's what I wanted. I wanted a lens like this for a long time, so it's definitely worth the investment. And so yeah, they gave me $500 credit because I tried to sell it on Kijiji, on the, you know, Canadian Craigslist. Nobody wants it, so this guy is right. So now most people are switching to mirrorless, and of course for mirrorless you want to get a mirrorless lens, but those suckers are so expensive, I'm telling you. That's one good thing about DSLR, like the older technology, that lenses are relatively cheap, you know. Anyway, that's all I got. So now I just have to I found my 94 gas around here, and it's only $1.52 per liter. So I'm gonna go get some gas, because I think I'm like half a tank, and then start driving home back to Cambridge. Ciao.